We're delighted to be working in golf, and really this is the first time that anyone's sort of started to try to understand what the breast and bra issues might be in women's golf. We've done a lot of work previously in other elite sports and identified that the movement of the breast can actually affect performance, and it can also be a barrier to girls taking part in particular sports.
The project came about as a master's student. I sat in one of Jo's lectures and listened to her talk about the research group and all the exciting work they're doing in breast biomechanics. And being a sort of golf swing fanatic and being a sports scientist by trade, I sort of stopped her at the end and said, is there anything in the golf industry? And we had that sort of aha light bulb moment that no one had looked at this for golf. So we collaborated together, which was almost about 6 years ago.
Essentially, the issue with the breast is that it doesn't have any muscles in it. So the breast is this lump of tissue that can be quite heavy, so it can add an additional mass on the chest wall. And we know that the movement of that mass can actually affect performance in other sports. But what we don't know is how that mass of the breast and the movement of the breast might affect the golf swing, for example. It might affect how you approach the ball, and it might even affect walking around the course. Some women golfers might experience breast pain, for example, whilst walking around the course. So there's a lot of implications in terms of breasts and bras and how they might affect golf, both from a performance perspective, but also from a comfort and an enjoyment perspective. So having the right type of breast support we've seen in other sports can be beneficial from a performance perspective. So if we take running, for example, we actually saw that if we can get runners into the right sports bra, it increased their stride length by 4 centimetres. Now 4 centimetres doesn't sound very much, but over a marathon distance, 4 centimetres could equate to a mile. So getting them into the right sports bra could really improve their performance. But as well as performance, there's also breast health. So it's really important from a health perspective that we are supporting the delicate tissues in the breast. If we don't support the delicate tissues in the breast, we know that they can become stretched. We have very regularly see stretch marks on the skin. And then there's also breast pain. So we know that breast pain affects a large percentage of the population. To give you an example, we are working with the Lionesses, and 51% of them report experiencing breast pain, and often that can impact on their sports performance.
So what we know from current female golf biomechanics is one of the determinants of clubhead speed, which is a key performance metric for golfers, is how fast they can move the torso. And now, if we're moving that torso really fast, and we know through Jo's research group that the breast moves with the torso, we know the breast is going to be under a lot of load and a lot of movement during that unique motion. So we've got potentials to influence swing technique and outcome measures like clubhead speed. We've also got potential, we've found in other sports, that there's changing in ground reaction forces across different bra support conditions as the player or athlete is trying to compensate for unnecessary breast motion. And we know that ground reaction forces are really important in the golf swing as well. So we definitely have a lot of technique issues to consider, which could then have an influence on the outcome metrics and the impact factors. The project starts with a survey of the players and let them tell us what their issues are, and then we can hopefully start to use that to influence what we look at in the future. So we can look at the breast movement in the swing, we can look at different sports bra types, we can even look at getting into prototyping different sports bras and working with manufacturers to understand the unique requirements, and to then use those requirements to then build what would so-called be a golf sports bra, which is best for performance, but also best for the player's health.
I had the information session back in London a couple of weeks ago, and it was very informative. I think it's a great thing the LET are doing, like bringing more awareness to it, kind of informing us players on probably a topic that not a lot of people speak about.
So we start off with education, and then we move into individual breast and bra assessments. So this is where we are hopefully offering a sort of one-to-one opportunity for players to ask any questions that they might have about breast and bras. We assess the bras that they're wearing currently, and we also are very lucky to have Adidas on board, who are providing sports bras for the players. So we're then able to show the players a range of different sports bra options that range from really light support through to high support, and also offer different characteristics, different strap configurations. Within that individual one-to-one assessment, we're then able to match the player to the sports bra that works best for them. And then they'll leave the session with a sports bra. And then we're following up in sort of 2 months' time to understand whether that's been beneficial for the players, what implications it's had potentially from a performance perspective and also maybe a comfort perspective. You know, golf has some really unique, unusual characteristics where you have a really dynamic activity, high accelerations occurring in the golf swing, to then a much more slower, lower impact activity as they're walking around the course. It's also an asymmetrical sport, so that's really interesting from a bra design, bra development perspective.
What you're wearing is like somewhat helping your performance is always good, and also just like a comfort thing to, you know, if you're comfortable in what you're wearing, that's always going to help you perform better and yeah, swing better on the golf course.
Really, for us, it's about breaking down barriers to enable women to be able to exercise, to be able to take part in a sport like golf in comfort. This project is very much about building an evidence base, building an understanding of what those issues are, both at a recreational level and at an elite sport level, so that we can hopefully help and make a difference to break down some of the barriers to taking part in golf.